Hello guys, so good morning. So in our previous video we've looked at how we can create if statement and if else statement in C++. So today we are going to be looking at how we can be able to create an else if statement. So whenever we create a if statement, we are just limited to two options. But whenever we want to go beyond that, we have to consider using something called an else if statement. So uh, as you can see here, we have two variables as usual. So the first variable, which is test1, is holding the value 5, and the second variable, which is test2, is holding the value 6. So cool. Now, to create an if else statement, we are going to be starting with the normal if statement. So we are just going to be writing if, so like this, and then we open our condition or test parameter, then we wrap our function with this body. So here we are going to be testing our variables. So the first thing that we are going to write is maybe we are going to test if maybe the two variables are equal. So how we can do that, we can say okay, test one, we want to see if test one is equal to test two. So I'll just write test two like this. So here I'm testing to see whether test 1 is equal to test 2. So if this test is true, so I'm going to do something else, so I'm going to execute a particular instructions. So in this case, I'm just going to say okay, see out. So I'm just going to type okay, condition 1 is true. Is true. So like this. So as you can see, whenever this statement is true, so that is this is the piece of code that is going to be executed, and uh, after that we are going to uh, write another condition. We are going to set another condition for our statement. So now what I'm going to do is to write another condition. So how I'm going to go about that is by writing an else, then if. So here I am telling my compiler to I want to create another statement. So I'm going to do exactly the same thing as we do above. So here I'm going to just copy this line of code, Control C, so Control V, so like this. So now instead of testing to see whether these two variables are equal, now I'm going to test to see whether they are not equal. So in this case, I'm just going to say okay, not equal. This is how we write not equal. So here we are testing to see whether test 1, which is number 5, and test 2, which is number 6, are equal. In this are not equal. In this case, they are not equal, which this statement is completely true. So now if the statement is true, so this is what is going to be executed. So I'm just going to go ahead and copy this line of code and paste it here. Then I'll change it to maybe condition 2 is true. So condition 2 like this. So after that, I am just going to create another else if statement. So I'm just going to write the same thing, else if. Then I'm going to open my parameter body. I'm going to open my function body. So now I'm going to copy this line of code. So now I'm going to test whether this the first variable is less than the second variable. in this case 5 is less than 6. I want to see whether 5 is less than 6. In this case, this statement maybe is true. So I'm just going to copy this line of code. I'm going to paste it here. So this is what is going to happen whenever our test is true. So in this case, I'll just change this to 3. So this is what is going to get executed whenever test 3 is true. So now, after doing this, mind you, we can go ahead and write as many else if as we want in our program. So, and then at the end of our uh, test, we are going to wrap it with an else statement, which is if any of this line of code or any of this test or any of this condition are not true, so the else part is going to get executed instantly. So I'm just going to wrap it. So this is our else part, and this is what is going to happen whenever our tests are false. So I'm just going to copy this line of code, Control C, Control V. So like this. So here I'll go ahead and say okay, no match, like this. I will save my line of code, I will save my application, and I will compile my application. So I will run my application. So as you can see, we have this uh, we have this output, which is condition 2 is true. So why are we getting this is because our program run through this. As you can see, this test is false because number one, root test 1 is not equal to test 2, which is 5 is not equal to test 6. Sorry, 5 is not equal to 6, and this is false. So this line of code is never going to get executed because this test is false. So, and then when getting to this line of code, this statement is completely true because 5 is not equal to 6. That is why we are getting the condition 2, this line of code. So that is why we are getting this as our output, because this statement is true. And then the next line of code or the next test or the next statement is false because test 1 is not equal to test 2, which is 5 is no, sorry, less than test 2, which is 6. 5 is not less than 6. That is why we are not getting anything here, because the statement is false because 5 is not less than 5 is not test 1 is not less than test 2. So like that. So, and then we are not getting this because we already have a match here. So that is it. So that is how we can be able to use else if statements to create multiple tests in our program. So thank you very much.